Hey guys, I hope all of you are having a very wonderful day. It is me, Siva Prasad, yet again bringing to you a series on science and technology current affairs. So, if you've seen in the last few videos, I'm trying to cover some important developments in the last 1 year, that is, of this present year 2020. The idea is to capture last 2 years of current affairs with respect to your UPSC Civil Services Prelims and Mains examination. So, I hope you have watched the previous lessons. So, along the same lines, today's lesson I'm going to start with. Before telling you about recent developments in the field of science and technology, I would like to tell you about an initiative and an academy where we are trying to make learning very much fun. That is the concept of Unacademy Combat. This is the most competitive, gamified UPSC civil services battle that is going to take place. You get an opportunity to compete with thousands of learners like you across India. This happens to be India's biggest fortnightly competition for UPSC civil services examination. So this is going to be held every alternative Sundays. I'm sorry. The last one was held on 6th of December. The next one is scheduled for 20th of December 2020. The timing is going to be 11 a.m. Let me just take a few minutes and tell you more about this initiative of Unacademy. So the questions, they're going to be very, very challenging, and these are curated by some of the best Unacademy educators. Alright. So this is going to be test engaging, challenging, as well as it's going to be fun. It is going to be super fast and it is fun, and there are going to be real-time rankings. You would be able to compete and you would be able to rank yourself against each other. You get an opportunity to compete with some of the best people out there in this UPSC as well, preparations. And following all these combat, you will see there's a detailed video solution that will be provided from some of the top educators on Unacademy. Alright? So the mantra is very simple: compete, crack, and conquer. You will get a score. Remember, you should steer clear of negative scores. Right? So thanks to the scores, you will be able to analyze your own speed and also your accuracy. We are going to publish a leaderboard where you will get to see your ranks, and also you will see who are the top-notch performers, and if you're good enough, you will be at your name will appear in one of the top most ends of the leaderboard. Right? There are going to be ratings, and you can unlock a lot of badge of honors, etc. So definitely there are awards. Let me just tell you the contest format. This entire combat is going to be last for 45 minutes. As I told you, it is super fast and fun. There are going to be a total of 60 questions. We have planned a total of 13 combats. These are going to take place every alternate Sundays. Alright, last Sunday we had a quiz. So we had the combat. So one Sunday we give a break, and then the next Sunday, that is after 14 days, you will be able to compete in another combat. Right, so it's a fortnightly competition. It's held on every alternate Sundays. There is going to be relative scorings, and we have 6 different sections on which you are going to be tested on. Right? The most exciting aspect about the Unacademy Combat is that you get to compete with the best, but also win amazing prizes. For example, we are giving away to the first ranker an Apple MacBook Air, second ranker gets access to Apple iPad Mini, Apple AirPods for the third ranker, and top 100 rankers get access to ₹1,000 worth of Amazon vouchers. Right? So I hope you are as excited and enthusiastic about this particular combat as much as I am. Alright. So to enroll in this Unacademy combat, you don't have to pay anything. Right? This is completely a free initiative for Unacademy. All you have to do is you have to download the Unacademy learning app, and you just have to sign in. It's a few minutes of process, hardly takes 2 minutes if you have not already done so. And for unlocking this entire package, you can use my referral code, that is AKMSIVA. This will give you access to this entire package. Alright, so let me now start with the concept that I would like to discuss with you. This is the concept of Aditya satellite. Alright, this is your Aditya L1 mission. Initially it was planned that we were going to launch this Aditya mission in 2019, but unfortunately we were not able to do so. So we said that maybe by 2020 we would be able to do that. Right, so that's what, and the year is nearing its end. So anyway, this happens to be ISRO's first scientific expedition to study the sun. Alright, till date, ISRO, we have definitely sent missions to study moon. We have definitely sent missions to study the other planets. We started with Mangalyaan, right? That is the Mars orbiter mission. You are aware of that, Mangalyaan. Right, so that's what. So this is the first time ISRO is going to send a scientific expedition to study the sun. Initially, you see, originally when we were talking about Aditya L1, we wanted it to be a 400 kilogram mini satellite, which was supposed to have one payload. Alright, it was initially visualized that we will just send one instrument and we would just monitor one aspect of the sun. But then later, we rethought about this Aditya mission. We renamed it as Aditya L1, and we said instead of one payload, we are going to take 7 payloads. That means plus 6 additional payloads we are going to take. So that means it is going to help us understand the mechanisms of the sun better. Alright, that's what. It will be placed, initially it was believed that it will be placed in this 800 kilometers lower Earth orbit, and the idea was to study the solar corona. Alright, what is the solar corona? I will be telling you about this in this lesson and also in the subsequent lesson that I will be making. The satellite, it is going to be placed in this halo orbit around this point called as L1. Alright, this will provide a continuous view of the sun without oscillations and eclipses. Alright, let me just tell you what is this, why is it called as Aditya L1? Why? Because remember, this Aditya satellite, it is going to be placed in an orbit that is called as L1. Alright, L1 stands for Lagrangian. Alright, what exactly is this Lagrangian point? Let's just try to understand. Alright, let me just take red color to depict the sun. So we have the sun over here, and then let's take blue color. This is to depict the earth. Alright, so if I place a satellite over here, alright, let's assume I'm placing it over here. So there must be one point of time, right? So this satellite is going to get attracted by the earth. Gravitational force of the earth is going to act on the satellite. The gravitational force of the earth will try to pull the satellite towards itself. Similarly, there's this gravitational pull of the sun. The sun is also trying to pull this particular vehicle towards itself. Alright, so there is one gravitational force of the earth that is acting, and there is one gravitational force of the sun that is acting. Alright, and to counter this, obviously necessary centripetal forces etc. are produced by the satellite. So in very simple language, so this is a point in space. This Lagrangian point is basically a point in space where this and this pull is going to equal one another. So that means they are going to nullify one another. Alright, I hope you're getting the point. That means the force with which the earth is pulling the satellite towards itself and the force with which the sun is pulling the satellite towards itself, both of them are going to cancel each other out. Why? Because they are equal, right? So that is the reason if you place anything in this particular point called as the Lagrangian point. Okay, let me write this for you. If you're a physics student, you might have heard about the Euler-Lagrange equation. Alright, anyway, the same Lagrangian. If you see this Lagrangian, alright, this Lagrangian point as it is called, this is a place where the gravitational force of the earth and the sun, they are nullifying each other. So that means anything you put at these points, it will be stable. Alright, so that is what. So if you see, there are 5 such points. Alright, there are 5 such points which are called as Lagrangian points. Each of them are called as L1, L2, L3, L4 and L5. Alright, these are the Lagrangian points. So we are going to place it at one of such Lagrangian points, which we call it as L1. Alright, so that is the reason the mission is also renamed as Aditya L1. Alright, that's what. The objective is to have a continuous view of the sun. There will be no oscillations, there will be no eclipses. That is the reason we chose L1 orbit. Alright, so you see, as I told you initially, we were planning it to be Aditya. Later it was revived. We said we are going to do something much better. We called it as Aditya L1. Right? We increased the capacity. Earlier there was only one payload, only one instrument we were sending to monitor the sun. Now we are sending additional 6 payloads. Right? Earlier we said we are going to study only the solar corona. Alright, solar corona, what exactly is this? If you see, if this is the sun, there is this burning outside part, you might have seen something like this. Right? This is called as the solar corona. I'll be telling you different parts of the sun in this and the subsequent lessons. So this is the solar corona. Alright, initially Aditya was meant for studying the solar corona, but over the period of time when we revived it as Aditya L1, thanks to the extra payloads, extra instruments that Aditya L1 is going to carry, we are not only going to study the solar corona, obviously we are going to study that, we will also be studying the photosphere, we will be studying the chromosphere. Remember, these are all different layers of the sun. I will draw a picture and tell you about them. These are all different layers of the sun. Alright, we will be studying about the solar wind. We will be monitoring the solar flares. We will be monitoring the coronal mass ejections. Remember, sun is a very, very violent being. It is spitting out so many things. It is spitting out so many energy particles. It is spitting out heat waves, right, in the form of solar flares, solar winds. Right, there are these coronal mass ejections. These are high energetic charged particles that are being pushed away from the sun. Till date, it is a huge mystery, what exactly is fueling all this. Right, so that's what we would like to understand. Alright, so this is going to provide round the clock imaging of the sun. Alright, 24/7 this will be staring at the sun and it is going to provide you with images. Right, anyway, so Aditya L1, it will be launched by Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle XL. Okay, just try to remember this. It is going to be launched by PSLV XL. Okay, that stands for extended length. Alright, so just try to remember this. Why am I specifying this? Remember, this is an Indian mission, so you need to know about the launch vehicle as well. Okay, whether it is C-43, XL, etc. And as I told you, it will have 7 payloads, 1 plus 6. Alright, these are 7 different instruments that will be on board, and this is going to be placed in the halo orbit around L1 instead of lower Earth orbit. Earlier I told you the idea was to put it in the lower Earth orbit. Now we are putting it in the Lagrangian point L1, and I just explained this concept of Lagrangian. Okay, the Lagrangian points, these are positions where the gravitational pull of two large masses precisely equals the centrifugal force required for a small object. Alright, so basically you see there's a centrifugal force that is coming into play, right? Because there is one pull force, naturally there's going to be a push force also, that is the centrifugal force. Alright, this is acting like this. So over here these forces are cancelling each other out. Why? Because the gravitational pull of both the objects, they are cancelling each other out. Why? Because they are equal. There are 5 such points, as I told you. There are 5 Lagrangian points. Alright, L1, L2, L3, L4 and L5. Among these L1, L2, L3, these are considered as unstable points, while L4 and L5 are considered as stable points. Alright, so let me just quickly tell you about the Lagrangian satellite. Alright, the L1 point of the Earth-Sun system affords an uninterrupted view of the Sun. Why did we choose L1? Very valid question. Why? Because remember, this gives you an uninterrupted view of the Sun, 24/7 access to the Sun. It is also currently home to solar and heliospheric observatory satellites. Alright, so that means Aditya L1 is not going to be the only satellite. It won't feel lonely in the L1. Why? Because whatever other satellites, remember this is India's first mission, but nevertheless there are other other space agencies like NASA, etc. They have already put a lot of observatory satellites to study the Sun. So already solar and heliospheric observatory satellites are already present in this L1. Alright. Other than this, what about the other points? Let's try to understand the other points. For example, L2 is there. Why not put it in L2? Remember, L2 is also ideal for astronomy. Because remember, a spacecraft is close enough to readily communicate with the Earth. It can keep the Sun, Earth and the Moon behind the spacecraft for solar power. And it also provides a clear view of deep space for our telescopes. Alright. So if you put it in this space, in this point called as L2, it is very ideal for deep space observation, for looking at far away objects from the Sun. Take far away objects from the Earth, for example, it could be black holes, it could be neutron stars, and so many other mysterious things that are present in the universe. Alright, so L2 is ideal. You might have heard about something called as James Webb Telescope. This is actually positioned in L2. Alright, all these important telescopes and all will be captured by me in subsequent lessons, so you don't have to worry about them. L3 point is hidden behind the Sun. Until now, it has not been found to be very useful as far as making observations are concerned. Alright. L4 and L5, these are stable points, and objects that are orbiting such points, these are actually called as trojans. Alright. Okay. So, in the next lesson, I will talk to you about the Parker Solar Probe. Alright. Then, following that, we will be talking about the structure of the Sun. Right. So, what is this corona? What is this photosphere, etc. I will tell you about it. Alright. I will also leave you with a small thought. Why are we so interested in this corona? Alright, this corona is very different from the corona that we are suffering from. You will see this solar corona, it heats up to lakhs of degrees centigrade. Can you imagine lakhs of degrees centigrade? But if you see the surface of the sun is somewhere like in the thousands of degrees centigrade. Alright, so how is it that the corona is actually hotter than the sun, than the surface of the sun, which is actually the source of the heat? People till date have not been able to figure out. There are a lot of hypotheses, there are a lot of theories that try to explain this in solar physics, but nevertheless we don't have a conclusive theory as to why this is happening. So thankfully initiatives like Aditya L1 will help the physicists, will help the scientists understand much better about the star that is closest to us, that is our sun. Alright, so you might see we are staring at the sun every day, and till date this is the smallest of the mysteries. It has not yet been solved. Right? There are so many big mysteries that the scientific community is trying to solve. So thankfully, Aditya L1 will play an active role in trying to sort of bridging this knowledge gap and getting to know about our own star, sun, much better. Alright? So with this small thought, I will leave you guys tonight. I hope all of you have a very good night. So bye bye, have a good day. See you guys in tomorrow's class. Thank you so much. Bye bye.